With you guys today, DiJonai Carrington, after clotheslining Sophie Cunningham, running into the locker room, screaming, "That's white privilege!" Then tweeting 8/23, threatening Sophie Cunningham and the Indiana Fever. DiJonai Carrington now comes out and clarifies what she means when she says white privilege for the Indiana Fever.
With 2 minutes left in the first quarter, DiJonai Carrington just slapped the dog shit out of Sophie Cunningham. Sophie pops up. She's obviously upset. DiJonai says, "Try me." And then look at Stephanie White. Look at her face. Look. She's mad as shit. Now, number one, this is obviously a flagrant 2. It just is. By the letter of the law, you got to call a flagrant 2. We all know these.
Welcome back. Today, I'm here with another exciting news video, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. Stay with me till the very end, because I'll keep you entertained while breaking down the full story. So, without wasting any time, let's dive straight into the video. DJ Carrington believed the internet needed a lesson after being ejected from a game. Just 2 words, posted directly from the locker room: white privilege. There was neither an apology nor an explanation. Days later, she continues to stand by that post, not withdrawing it, not offering clarification, and arguing with nearly everyone who dares to challenge her viewpoint. This situation has turned into a complete controversy. Honestly, it may be the strangest reaction we've witnessed from a WNBA player this season. If you're enjoying this content, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 90% of viewers still haven't subscribed. It's completely free and takes only a second, but it means everything to us. So, have you subscribed yet? Awesome! Thank you so much for your support. Now, let's get back to the video.
Cunningham, otherwise known as MAGA Barbie in the WNBA, is a superstar player. She's one of the most famous female athletes in the world because she stood up for women in women's sports, saying only biological women should be allowed to play in the WNBA. And for that, she is literally risking her life. Check this out. This is what happened to Sophie Cunningham last night when she was clotheslined by a filthy, dirty player for Chicago who has a name that I can't pronounce, or maybe I just refuse to do that. That's my right as an American. But this is a player that has attacked Caitlin Clark, gouged her eye out, that has now bloodied the face of Sophie Cunningham. And as soon as she did this, she tweeted white privilege, meaning she's declaring this is a race crime. Now, if a white woman was doing this to black women, it'd be the #1 story in the world. She'd be banned from the league forever. But somehow black women are allowed to get away with this against white women. And it's white women in the league who make themselves a target by simply standing up for traditional values. And
Sophie Cunningham has been among the most outspoken supporters of her Fever teammate Caitlin Clark throughout the season, publicly stating on several occasions that neither the league nor the officials are doing enough to protect Clark from the physical treatment she faces night after night. She has called out specific incidents, certain individuals, and even openly claimed that some teams have talked in their own locker rooms about teaching Clark what the WNBA is really about. Speaking that way doesn't exactly earn you popularity around the league. In addition, Cunningham has never really hidden the fact that she knows it.
Goo! That's assault, brother. You can't do that. What the fuck? Is this just the default if you can't think? Or if you just don't want to take accountability for your actions? Oh my god, this league, bro, this league. Bro, white privilege while you're wearing a bleach blonde dyed wig. I mean, the fuck? What is privileged about that? You Stone Cold Steve Austin clotheslined her ass. What about that is white privilege? The WNBA stays undefeated. It truly does. They can't get out of their own.
This background is important because it explains why so many people watched this particular foul and felt there was more involved than simply a tough basketball play. Cunningham has already built a reputation as one of the players willing to speak out about Clark's treatment on the court. Now, she is the one who was hit in the face by a forearm, leaving her bleeding. The appearance of the entire situation was practically set the moment the ejection took place. Whether or not Carrington intended any of that underlying meaning, the perception was already there.
Beyond concerning at this point how far from the plot we have actually gotten. And when I say the plot, I mean the basketball. How far from the game of basketball we have spiraled. When we're talking about the WNBA, we used to joke, it's like, 0 days without drama in the WNBA. This league is living up to it at a rate and a level of concern that we haven't ever had. with all the discussion.
Craziness going on in the WNBA. DiJonai Carrington tweeted out white privilege from the locker room of a game that she was playing in. Get this, she fouled Sophie Cunningham hard. Sophie Cunningham, obviously a white person, fouled her hard. Flagrant 2, gets ejected, goes to the locker room and tweets out white privilege in the middle of the game. Now here's the kicker to me. A flagrant 2 has to be contact that can lead to an injury that looks excessive. DiJonai, it was about as excessive as possible. If there was any evidence of there being white privilege, this was not it.
Cunningham is not the only person who has noticed the tension. Earlier this year, when Clark was ranked as only the 9th best guard in a league-wide player poll, legendary broadcaster Dick Vitale shared his thoughts. He described the result as pure jealousy and predicted that players would eventually recognize how much Clark has contributed to everyone financially. After the Carrington incident took place, that comment seemed to carry a different weight, as it became yet another example of someone closely connected to Clark and Cunningham facing real physical consequences. In addition, a former teammate openly celebrated the incident, while the head coach appeared to offer a mild defense of the player involved, rather than expressing sympathy on behalf of the league. Seeing that pattern repeat itself makes it difficult not to wonder whether Vitale was right.
Across the face, coming down, trying to prevent the layup, but that is just a hard hit. That's definitely going to be upgraded, I think, to a flagrant 2, Ryan.
I think that is going to be a flagrant 2. There is
Get what you fucking deserve.
And just getting her out of the
Lucky
way.
it wasn't a right hook.
Make no mistake about it, Carrington targeted Cunningham. She targeted her because of her political stances. She targeted Cunningham because of the praises that she keeps receiving. She targeted her with a dirty shot that had absolutely nothing to do with basketball. And then after getting ejected, she runs to the locker room to play the fucking victim card. Like she didn't try to just take off Cunningham's head in 4K. Like we all didn't just watch it happen. That is not competition. That is a grown woman swinging on someone who she disagrees with and then screaming racism when she gets held accountable for it. DiJonai Carrington needs to be held responsible, and I'm not talking about just getting ejected from the game.
This is what actually happened on the court because after watching the play, it really isn't that complicated. During a fast break, Sophie Cunningham was sprinting down the floor completely open and moving in for what should have been an easy layup. Rather than challenging the shot, DJ Carrington came from behind and hit Cunningham across the face and neck with her forearm. Cunningham crashed hard to the floor. Although the ball still went in, nobody was talking about the basket afterward. Play was immediately stopped. The officials reviewed the play on the monitor and upgraded the foul to a flagrant 2, which results in an automatic ejection under WNBA rules. There is very little room for debate. Wind-up, contact, follow-through, significant injury risk, and a vulnerable player are all factors considered for a flagrant 2. It is essentially the checklist, and this play appeared to meet every single requirement.
The way Sophie Cunningham came down on her leg, she could have been injured. So they said, yo, get out of here, dog. Get out of here. Then, I don't know if y'all were looking at her lips. She was talking about, try me. Yo, you already tried Sophie? You got all the samples of Sophie. You talking about try me. What are you talking about? This lady is unhinged right now, man. This is crazy work. And it makes you wonder. It's like, dog, you were the best player for the Sky at this moment. Look how she landed on the leg. Oh my goodness. Like, you were the best player for the Sky, and you decided to do this? You weren't even thinking about the game. You was thinking about some kind of revenge or something. Somebody sent you on a mission. You were on a mission, dog. I don't know what you had going on here, but DiJonai, this is unacceptable. Disrespectful, disgusting, and I'm glad they got you up out of it.
Cunningham got back to her feet immediately, her face showing clear frustration and anger. She quickly moved toward Carrington before teammates and officials stepped in to separate them. It is worth noting that the league often evaluates reactions differently depending on the circumstances surrounding them. In fact, after the game, the crew chief explained that Cunningham was not penalized for her response because it was viewed as reasonable given the severity of the contact she had just experienced. As a result, even the officials themselves essentially recognized that what happened to her was serious enough to justify her emotional reaction.
Photo from the flagrant 2 on DiJonai Carrington against Sophie Cunningham, where she proceeded to go into the locker room and tweet white privilege after being thrown out of the game. I'm not going to comment on that situation, but I will say this. This is a flagrant 2. Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, don't matter. This is a flagrant. I mean, she clotheslined her. What more do you want? So, this looks very bad. It just shows that the WNBA is nowhere near where they need to be professionally. Because again, this is a clothesline. It's flagrant.
That is what makes Carrington's later comments seem so confusing. If the officials themselves stated that the contact was excessive and unnecessary, and that Cunningham's reaction to being hit in the face was completely understandable, then where does race enter the discussion? No matter who committed the foul or who received it, the ruling was not upgraded without reason. A player was struck across the head and neck while attempting a shot. As a result, the officials reviewed the play and upgraded the call. Every player in that league is subject to the same rule, regardless of who they are.
Don't even mention the fact that she said white privilege. That is the story. The story isn't that she got kicked out. It's that she tweeted out white privilege as though because Sophie Cunningham is white, somehow that's why she got kicked out. They go on to defend her, the story, the narrative that she's not a dirty player. She makes plays like this all the time. I put together a little clip of DiJonai Carrington, who is definitely one of the dirtiest players in the WNBA. I don't know if we can roll it, but she's taken her long fingernails. She's scratched Caitlin Clark's eyes out. She's had multiple instances of chasing people down from behind, trying the same swat and smashing them in the head and causing mini fights. She pulled another girl's hair. I don't know if we'll get to that clip in a second when she's falling. Totally dirty play. This is not a skin color thing. She has a history of making dirty plays, and it's fine. The NBA, you can be a rough and tumble league. Now, where this thing gets absolutely bananas is when you start making it into a race and culture war, and the people talking about it are not mentioning 99% of the time that she went back and tweeted white privilege, white privilege.
Rather than simply accepting the ejection and moving on, Carrington immediately went to her Threads account and posted white privilege while tagging the Indiana Fever directly underneath. At the time, she provided no further explanation, just those two words, leaving people across the internet to interpret them however they wished. Naturally, many people drew the same conclusion because the timing made it difficult to view it any other way. Within minutes of being ejected for striking a white player in the face, the phrase white privilege appeared on her account, along with a tag directed at that same team. It did not take much for people to connect the dots, and many across the sports world did exactly that almost immediately.